This is really silly of me. I'm really sorry. I'm sorry this was silly, but I forgot to define PCOS in this video because I more so talk about my experience and just expect the people who are on this video to know what PCOS is, because I imagine that you're kind of coming to this video because you, like I, want to just share in the connection of having PCOS with somebody else. But I did not take into account the people that have no idea what PCOS is. So, PCOS, Polycystic Ovarian Syndrome, is a disorder that can cause. God, this is going to be so hard to make interesting. I'm going to really try. PCOS is a disorder that occurs when levels of certain hormones are abnormal. Women with PCOS may have irregular or no menstrual periods, infertility, and excessive hair growth. Hey! PCOS can cause long term health problems in women, but it can be treated. Okay, so the signs and symptoms. I'm just gonna define it myself because I can't stand to just read off this pamphlet. Symptoms that I have read that seem to be unanimous over all sites and all TikToks and all YouTube videos and everything are struggles with weight gain because our insulin is off, because we may produce too much insulin, which is also what people with diabetes have in common. Excessive hair growth. Cool. Causes a hormone imbalance, so your hormones are hella imbalanced. High blood pressure is a risk, and a heart disease is also a risk. I've heard that being hungry all the time is also another symptom. But that to me just kind of feels like very objective, because I feel like, are we not all a little hungry all the time? Infertility. Bow, bow, bow. Hey. Yeah, so that's what PCOS is in my definition. I tried to make it spicy for you. Sorry. My name is Ruth Seneca. Welcome to oh my god. My name is Ruth PCOS Seneca. Welcome to my casual YouTube channel. This is a place where we talk about anything casual or monumental related to life, just in an effort to make YouTube casual again. Because there was a push to make Instagram casual, now we're gonna make YouTube casual. The casual focus that I want to talk about today is on PCOS and my recent diagnosis with PCOS, which, if you don't know what PCOS is, it is Polycystic Ovary Syndrome. I got diagnosed about 2-ish weeks ago, so this is a really new diagnosis. And I want to make this video primarily not only because it's like nice to express yourself and to like vent, but also because as of my very recent, very new diagnosis, I find a lot of solace in other people talking about PCOS, even though I've only had it for like a bit. Okay, I know. But I find solace in other people talking about their struggles with something that I'm struggling with, because it makes me feel less like a defective human. I now feel like relief because I have a name to something, and not only do I have a name to something, there are symptoms that other people have been struggling with that like I had no idea were even symptoms. I thought they were just the way my body functioned, you know? But here we are all struggling together. And I really appreciate that. But I will say it is important to point out that although you can take joy in like the community of noted like struggling with something, you can't live there. You can't live in negativity or anger or the cons of whatever you're going through. You can't live there, as Moira said in Handmaid's Tale. Like, we're not going to live in rage, but it is important to acknowledge it, so that once you acknowledge it, you can kind of work through it and grow through it and just not have to constantly come back to that feeling, you know? So I want to make this YouTube video just to talk about PCOS because I find a lot of value in it, and I hope that somebody else will find value in this video too, because I really enjoyed the PCOS side of TikTok and the PCOS side of YouTube and the PCOS resources and things. So, I'm gonna split this video up into talking about like my background with everything related to PCOS, which is like the symptoms and like my period, things that I've kind of dealt with in relation to it before I had a name to it. And then I'm going to be talking about, well, I guess I could also talk about like how this all came about before I talk about whatever. I'm going to mention my background with it, my emphasis on weight gain, because like that was kind of a large part of what I've been struggling with, is just my weight that I've put on and like how uncomfortable I am with that because it's so important. It's so important. And then where I kind of am now and like what I want to do moving forward and like what I have in mind for treatment options, but I don't have a structure, you know. I'm very new to this. I feel like I have so much to learn about this. But anyway, so like I said, I got diagnosed nearly 2 weeks ago. It was Thursday, not of last week, but the week before that. So that's why I'm like kind of 2 weeks ago. So what made me go to the OBGYN to get an ultrasound to be diagnosed was not even was like I got diagnosed by accident. I feel like I started to feel like cramps in my stomach like every once in a while. I started feeling like really weird symptoms, so I went to urgent care just to see what that was. Like it was not related to my period. It was weird because I would feel like these intense, horrible, sharp pains that were like 8 out of 10 pains, and but then I would not get a period for like a month or two, and I would describe that to the urgent care person, and the urgent care person recommended me to go to this OBGYN clinic. So I did. And I was like, I just want to know what this pain is so that I can do something about it. I'll say prior to that, my background with periods is I started my period when I was like 12 or 13. Like it was very early and it was very embarrassing. Like it was not cool to have boobs when you were 12. It was really like hard cuz oh my god, like so I started off really early having my period, and it was really embarrassing and really hard to go through, especially because the cramps that I would get were not normal. They were incredibly intense. Like it was such a struggle going through them. Um, and like I'm happy now that I know that PCOS causes painful periods, but beforehand I was just kind of like, this is normal. Everybody talks about like painful periods. This is whatever. Like it happens. Um, but it would get to the point in middle school where I'd be like, I don't even want to come to school. This is so tough. I mean, I didn't want to come to school, period, but like period. But like on my period, I just oh my god, it was the worst. Yeah, so I had like just really painful, horrible periods, so much to where I would skip school. I wouldn't be able to keep food down, which was such a problem. I would I remember telling my friends about it, like looking to relate to people. And they would be like, just don't eat that day. Don't even eat. Like, are you kidding? Problem solved. Problem solved. So I just remember feeling kind of like isolated because I had this facet of a period that I felt like nobody really knew how to relate to me about. So then from high school to middle school to high school to college is when I started having like irregular periods and when I started kind of like panicking about them because I was sexually active. Don't tell anybody. As I was active in college, I, of course, you know, like you have irregular periods and you're like, I'm pregnant for sure. Like every few months I'd be like, I'm pregnant. But like a lot of the time it didn't even make sense. Me and my husband, at the time boyfriend, were long distance. I just would not get a period and be like, so what's this about? Because sometimes I would get a period and then I would not get a period and then I would, and then it would be like 2 months and I would skip my period for 2 months. This last period that I had it like it's April right now. The last period that I had, besides the one from this month of April, which is like I'm so grateful that I had that. The last period I had before this April one was in January. Painful cramps, irregular periods, whatever. I should have also taken a note from like the cystic acne that I got. Wow. I had some acne. So yeah, that's my background with periods and my background with what I know now is to be PCOS. Until recently I didn't really know like what was going on with my body in terms of my weight until like all of a sudden it seemed I when I went to urgent care I got weighed and found out that I was 130, which okay, I brought this up to somebody who also has PCOS and they were like, I would kill to be 130 again. Are you kidding me? As somebody who's 4'11", being 130 is not like where you want to be. Okay. It's like, I don't even know what to compare it to. I don't want to like insult anybody, but I'm not used to having like extra weight that I'm not comfortable with. So when I found out that I was 130, I immediately just tunnel visioned into the fact that I was going to lose weight. So I found out around maybe either September, no, October or November. I know November is when I started working out. I can't remember when I found out though. And for months, I would just go to the gym, really try to kill it. I like documented it on YouTube, my fitness journey, because I'm like overweight now. Because I am overweight for my weight. My weight. I am overweight for my height. And I just would not lose anything. Like, I would go to the gym super consistently. I would eat so clean and nothing would be lost. And I'd be like, what am I doing wrong here? So then I would try multiple different things, freak myself out, really feel like I was just not, like, maybe it's me, like maybe I don't have like a good method for this. Maybe it's the fact that I sit in a desk all day, like most Americans. Maybe I just deserve this weight. But then recently being diagnosed with PCOS has really relieved me because there's so much. I honestly feel like having issues with my body and my weight really was putting me in not a dark place, because I honestly like I feel very confident with where I am in relation to how much I work out and how much I take care of my body, but it just really sucks not to see the result of it. I so appreciate the fact that like I'm running my fastest miles. I'm going to the gym more consistently than I ever have. I truly feel more healthy right now than I have in the at any point in my life. Like any point in my childhood. I put that on my childhood and any other point. But it sucks not to reap any benefits of pushing yourself to go to the gym. It really sucks and it really like hurts to look in the mirror and be like, it just feels bad because it just feels like you're doing all this stuff for nothing. It really does. And ugh. So I honestly didn't have any concern about why I wasn't losing any weight. I just was like, I just got to go harder. Like, I just have to go harder. That seems to be the problem. Um so like I said, I went to urgent care. They referred me to an OBGYN. They called me on a Thursday and were like, "Hey, so things are looking pretty good. All of your chests, all of your tests check out, but it seems as though your ultrasound isn't showing that you have cysts on your ovaries." Yeah, on your ovaries. She said it so quickly. She was like, looks like you have cysts on your ovaries, which does make sense as to why you have irregular periods. Because before that, she told me like, oh, maybe you have like a hormone imbalance. Because if you're having these irregular periods and they're like painful and whatever, you probably have a hormone imbalance. So I was like fully sold that I was just gonna be told that I had a hormone imbalance and that everything was gonna be like, nah, you're just like irregular, like things are just kind of imbalanced for you. So she calls me, I'm at work, I pick up the phone, I like go into my boss's office because she wasn't in the office that day because I just wanted some privacy. She's like, yeah, cysts on your ovaries, it's PCOS. I will send you a pamphlet in the mail. If you have any questions, let us know. Let us know how the birth control works out for you, and bye. And that was it. And I was like, oh, and I think I asked her on the phone. I was like, what's PCOS? Because I had heard it before, but I didn't know like by medical definition what it was. She was like, oh, PCOS is a hormone imbalance, blah, 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 blah. I'll send you the pamphlet. And then was like, bye. Honestly, it was in the moment, she just was giving me information, but I really did feel like I needed to be empathized with. Like, as much as doctors do so much for us, and like everybody's gonna have a critique about how you do your job. I in that moment was so shocked that like I actually had something that I just almost wish she had been a little bit more gentle with her delivery, because she just is like, yeah, PCOS, I'll send a pamphlet and this is that pamphlet, bye. And that just like, I don't know, just such a shock to the system to be like, wow. So like when she told me, and she was like really kind of like not dismissive about it, that's so dramatic. When she mentioned it, like it was just like, oh, by the way, you have like a Amazon package at your door, be sure to pick it up. Like that's how it felt. Like it didn't feel like it was like a oh, you've been like diagnosed with something. It made me at first I was like, okay, if she's cool about it, I'll be cool about it. And I was cool about it for about like 2 hours, I'll say. Let me like retract that. Let me redact that. I was like I was kind of spinning out for just a little bit because I was just still at work, you know. I had like 2 hours left in my shift. 2 hours left of my work day. And I'm laughing because I'm nervous. 2 hours left of my work day. I was like looking at PCOS like at my desk, which is like very public for like other workers to see, and me just being like, what is PCOS? Does PCOS cause infertility? It does. I'll cry about this later. Like all of these things. Scary. It was scary, and because she didn't like give me much information. It's sure she was gonna send me a little pamphlet, but it's like, okay, in the moment you can't just spring this on somebody and then just leave them be. You know, like people need information to make them feel relief. So it just weirded me out that she like wasn't, I don't know. I don't have that much critique for her. I just kind of feel like I wish I was in person to ask certain things because it just would have been a much more calming, humanistic, humanistic, human experience. You know, just because at first, like when somebody doesn't freak out about something or somebody doesn't make something known to you that it should be something to worry about, then you don't worry about it, and it's like not something that's big to you. But then you look into it yourself, and you're like, let's look at the worst possible outcome of this. Let's look at all of the things you should be terrified of. So then I did. And I went home. I've been trying really hard just to keep really upbeat about this and just to be really light about it because it's fun to be really entertaining, but like it's not fun to be told that you have something that actually will affect you, you know? Um And I don't want to sit here and just cry about this, but I want to be genuine to how I'm feeling and like how this is affecting my emotions. You know, my therapist always tells me like cuz I always apologize for like crying or being sensitive or um you know, just like showing too much emotion because it makes me feel a little bit weak, but it's not. It like I'm just an emotional person. I'm just feeling something in this moment and it is what it is. But it just really hit me like a wave as much as I've just been told that I had PCOS, it just makes me feel like my body's not doing what it's supposed to be doing, and that's really disappointing. And as much as there's so many great things to be happy about. You know, I'm so happy that I have the resources to look into what PCOS is. I'm so happy I have people in my life who also have PCOS. I'm so happy that you know, there are so many there's so many things you can do with this knowledge. Knowledge is power. And I'm happy that I have that and that I even know that I have this and that I'm not like in the dark. But it's not a good thing. Like there's so many problems that people with PCOS face, like weight gain being one of them, potentially infertility. PCOS, people with PCOS are like 3 times more likely to have miscarriages. It just like I know I made a joke about this, but it makes me feel defective. Like it makes me feel bad because now that I know that my body functions like this, sure it's great that I can um adjust so that I can cater to it, but I don't want to have to do that. Don't want to have to do that. I want to be normal. I don't want to put on this stupid weight. I don't want to deal with infertility issues. I don't want any of that. I don't Nobody deserves this. Nobody deserves this. And I even remember going to the gym when I was trying to lose weight like so hard and looking at all these girls who like did not have to try, like didn't have to do a single thing. Like I'd be pushing myself like running like 3 miles like hours. Like it took me a while, like an hour and a half or whatever. And then just to see like a girl who's like so fit, so beautiful, so beautifully built, like just having to like come walk on the treadmill, lift her little weights, and then leave. And she wasn't even there for like 15 minutes and she like had everything that I wanted, you know. I don't want to have to try so hard for something that somebody doesn't even like have to do anything for, you know. And that's what I just feel like is so aggravating. It's so aggravating. I understand why people who make YouTube videos, YouTubers, say, "I don't wanna cry," like, the I don't I always tell myself I would never cry on camera because it feels a little bit like it feels a little bit performative, it doesn't feel very honest because you could just always, like, edit it out, cut it out, but it is real, like, that's a real human emotion, it's a real thing that I'm going through, so as much as, like, I don't wanna do it, this is like a normal casual channel where, like, normal casual things happen and, like, I talk about bad things that feel bad, as much as there are, like, good things and funny things and great entertaining things, you know? Yeah, so that's my journey so far. I currently am on birth control. Hey. And, I'm excited to get back on birth control because I felt like I was doing I've been looking into PCOS TikTok and PCOS everything, and it seems like there's so many ways to heal PCOS naturally, to treat the symptoms and deal with them directly as opposed to masking them with birth control. In the ways like you can change your diet, you can exercise regularly, you can take certain supplements, you can do whatever you want to do. There's so many ways. But I feel as though these past couple months of me trying to get back healthy and also trying to lose weight was my little trial run of like the things that I'm already seeing that other people have recommended to be implemented. So I'm excited now for getting on birth control and just trying it out and seeing if I like it. But if I gain weight, it's over. It's over. It's ended. I'm not I'm not staying on it. It's not the worst thing in the world to gain some weight. I just don't like how it's affecting my self-esteem. I feel like I used to feel like I was a pretty confident person, but this weight being added on is just making me feel so bad um about myself, and pushing myself to get it off and not having any results is just like the cherry on top. So I'm excited to get on birth control and I'll see how it goes. And getting in contact with a dietitian just to heal my gut, because a large part of your overall like physical health is it starts in your gut, you know. They say that abs are made in the kitchen, but so is just a healthy mind and body. Like, analyze what's fueling you. I hope you have a good morning, afternoon, or night.